So ADA has seen this recent move to the downside, and as you can see, we also failed to find support at the 50 EMA, and so it will be interesting to see ADA's next move from here on out. And as you guys know, I'm currently tracking this wave 3 to the upside, where this wave 3 is made up of 5 waves, and I'm currently tracking this 5th wave here to tap into these 2 regions, and then that will then complete the 3rd wave, and then we see the wave 4 and 5 play out. And I also mentioned it was possible that we ended up completing the 3rd wave, where that 3rd wave would have topped off at this level at 93.72 cents, and then we could potentially be within this 4th wave made up of a WXY structure, where that Y wave could then tap into this region here, and then we get to see that final push to the upside to then complete the 5th wave. And so both setups are bullish. It's just a case of which setup is in play right now. And so what I'll do is I'll break down what's taking place within this recent move, just so I can get a better understanding as to what's actually going on. So if I drop down to the 5-minute chart, and straight away I can see that this move here is made up of a corrective move as opposed to an impulsive move. So essentially what's forming right now is a WXY structure, where this is a W wave, this is the X wave, and this is a Y wave. So what I do is check to see if this Y wave has met the typical requirements. And that Y wave would typically retrace between 1 to 1.226. So that region sits between 86.51 cents to 86.99 cents. So as you can see, we ended up tapping into that region, and then since then we've seen that bounce to the upside. And within this Y wave, it looks like what is forming is a 5-wave structure. So if I draw that in, it looks like this is the wave 1, this is wave 2, and then we could potentially be within a wave 3, and then we see a wave 4 and 5 that plays out. And so what I do is check to see if this wave 3 has met the minimum requirement, just so I know that this is a 5-wave structure that's in play. So if I bring in the fib tool, so here you can see that the 1.618 level, this is at 86.95 cents, and we ended up going deeper than that level where we reached 86.59 cents. And so yeah, it looks like we have this 5-wave structure that's in play right now, and we potentially completed the wave 3, and we're now within this wave 4 to the upside. So what I do is check to see if the internal structure within this wave 3 is now complete, where this 3rd wave will have to be made up of 5 waves. So if I remove this fib tool and draw that in, so it looks like we had a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and a wave 5. And so again, I check to see if this wave 3 has met the minimum requirement, which looks to be the case. And so as you can see, we ended up extending beyond the 1.618 level. And so it looks like this 5-wave structure is now complete to complete the 3rd wave. And we saw this 4th wave play out and this 5th wave. And so we could potentially be within this 4th wave right now. And this 4th wave would typically retrace anywhere between 23.6% to 50% of the wave 3. So if I remove this and bring in this fib tool, so the next move for ADA would be for ADA to reach this region between 87.12 cents to 87.72 cents. So let me adjust this, and that's in the right position. So we ended up tapping into that region. As you can see, we ended up reaching 87.14 cents, and so it's possible that this move is now complete, and then we see that final push to the downside to then complete the 5th wave. And so if I remove this and go back to the hourly chart, essentially if we want to remain within this 3rd wave, then what we need is for ADA to not break this level here at 83.72 cents, and at the same time not break this level here at 83.72 cents. Otherwise, if we do so, then that would then mean that we ended up completing the 3rd wave, at 93.73 cents, and then we are now within this fourth wave to the downside, and then we get to set our final push to the upside to then complete the fifth wave. And if we are within this fourth wave, then what we are forming is a WX Y structure. So what I do is set that Y wave target. And so that Y wave has the potential to reach this region here between 80.43 cents to 82.25 cents. So if I adjust this, and so this could be the next move for ADA. And then shortly after, we'll then see that pump to the upside to then complete the fifth wave, where that fifth wave could potentially reach the $1 mark. And with that being said, you can see that on the hourly chart, we are within the oversold conditions. And so at some point, we could see the bulls regain control of the market. And if I quickly go on the 4-hour chart, again, we are within the oversold conditions. And so I'm not necessarily too concerned with this recent move to the downside. Even if we were to extend beyond these two levels, I'll still be looking out for that push to the upside. However, it's still possible that we hold this position and then see that reversal to the upside. And if that's the case, then that would then mean that we're still within this fifth wave to the upside, where that fifth wave would then tap into these two regions, and then that would then complete the third wave. And then shortly after, we'll then see the retracement to the downside to complete the fourth wave, which could happen in the next couple of days. And then we see that final push to the upside to then complete the fifth wave. And so, yeah, that's just my update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found it useful. And if you did, then feel free to hit that like button. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.